Second, good morning, sir. And, we are messaging all the participants through WhatsApp. So we are expecting them to join us shortly. We will begin the session with.
Yeah, you can start by. Yeah, you can start. You can wait and start. No worries.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Because today is Sunday, I know.
Thank you, sir. And we have contacted all the participants through WhatsApp. Now I'm receiving some responses.
I can see that they are joining now. I can see. Yeah.
Yes. Morning, everyone. We are waiting for a few more participants to join this session right now. So we will begin the session in about 11:10. Thank you. We will wait for another 5 minutes to begin the session. Morning, everyone. I'm Krishna your host for this session. On behalf of IFERP, I would like to welcome you all to the 13th session of the one-week faculty development program on outcome-based education organized by Institute for Engineering Research and Publication in association with United Innovators, Asia Pacific Association for Dental and Oral Health, Krishna Institute of Dental Sciences, and New Horizon College of Engineering. IFERP is an organization devoted to engineering research and publication. The aim is to bring together like-minded professionals from all around the world to discuss and conduct research on their favorite subjects in order to do benefit society. This is accomplished through hosting international conferences, webinars, workshops, faculty development programs, industrial training programs, and many other events. IFERP and United Innovators have partnered to provide thorough research and development services, including assistance with thesis writing, journal publication, research proposal submission, and patent registration. IFERP launched seed funding programs to finance the innovative concept in order to support the research scholars. IFERP has collaborated with various organizations and institutions to enhance the research methodology and digitalize the innovative process. IFERP offers various memberships levels such as professional memberships, student memberships, institutional memberships, and various chapters to bring together all those who share a common interest in learning, growing, and becoming aware of the subject. One such faculty development program launched by IFERP for fostering the faculties and professionals to share and build outcome-based education is this one-week webinar. We are able to successfully carry out this one-week program only with the collaboration of our academic partners, thanks to Krishna Institute of Dental Sciences and New Horizon College of Engineering. Krishna Institute of Dental Sciences is located in Western Maharashtra. The School of Dental Sciences was started with the approval of the Dental Council of India in the year 2006. The institution aims to address the dental care needs of the community while providing the best dental education and comprehensive hands-on training to its students. As a social responsibility, it also carries out the oral health awareness programs and diagnostic camps in the villages nearby. New Horizon College of Engineering is an autonomous college affiliated to Vishweshwara Technological University, approved by the All India Council for Technical Education and University Grants Commission. It is accredited by NAAC with A grade and National Board of Accreditation. New Horizon College of Engineering is located in the heart of IT capital of India, Bangalore. Today's topic is Curriculum Development Plan in Outcome-Based Education. Before inviting our speaker of the session, Dr. Ravichandran, to take the spotlight, I would like to give an introduction about him and his expertise. Dr. Ravichandran is a pedagogical expert and has several years of teaching with a wide spectrum of students. He has his PhD in pedagogical leadership from UPSI, Malaysia. Due to his passion in the field of online teaching and learning, he conducted his studies to do his second PhD from Open University, Malaysia, in the field of information technology. As an author, research consultant, and an instructional designer, he has presented several papers and addressed as a keynote speaker in many international conferences. He has moderated several postgraduate research theses and has been an external examiner moderating PhD students. He is also a founder and designer for K-Learn learning management system. His main area of interest is research and smart learning tools and techniques for 21st century digital learners. We welcome you, sir, and the session is now yours.
Thank you for your brief introduction and also explaining in details about why FERP is conducting such programs. Thank you, Mona. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, the screen is visible.
Good morning and welcome. Okay, thank you. So good morning and welcome to this presentation on curriculum development plan in OBE. And I thank the organizers IFERP for giving me this opportunity today. And I'm happy that they have called me for the second time in a month's time to be a keynote speaker. This event would have not been possible with the participants' involvement. And I thank all the participants out here who have joined me together today in this particular presentation, what I'm going to take you for next 1 hour. The reason why I have taken this particular topic is because I had been a curriculum designer for more than 20 courses in different universities, be it in Malaysia or be it in US. I have had a home country, India, and I went colleges and universities. One particular plan, which is very much important for those universities and colleges which are into the NAAC accreditation process. So when I asked a simple question to the teachers or the lecturers around there, I was not able to get what I was expecting from them, and most of them had a vague idea about what curriculum is all about and what is outcome-based education, etc. So this initiated me and motivated me to do this particular faculty development program for IFERP today, and that is why I'm here today to deliver my presentation to all of you present here. So I'm sure that you are going to enjoy this particular session because I got a lot of things here today, and most of you would have not experienced such live examples, what I'm going to show you today at the end of this particular presentation. So please be patient enough to capture what I'm trying to throw at you today in the field of curriculum development and also outcome-based education. So to move forward, I have today, this is my outline, understanding the term for curriculum, because curriculum is understood in different contexts, in different ways by different faculty members. And what exactly is curriculum in a general context is what I'm going to explain you today. Understanding the term curriculum mapping is very, very important if you are in India or elsewhere also. It is very, very important for a faculty member. And also, what is the term curriculum development plan is all about, because NAAC in India insists this for faculties to have a clear idea about initiating them and recording them in their day-to-day activities. So next one is understanding the term outcome-based education. I'm going to show you one simple, very short, maybe 1 minute video to understand what is OBE. And I also wanted to give you practical examples of outcome-based education before converging to the live examples from my experience in curriculum development plan. So to move forward, you have to know what is curriculum all about. And as you see here, curriculum has been derived from a Latin word, currere, which means a race course or a runway on which one runs to reach a goal. Accordingly, a curriculum is the instructional and educative program by following which the people achieve their education goals. So my dear friends, curriculum is basically the instructional path which the teacher as well as the students need to follow during the entire course. And in my context and in my experience, what I feel is curriculum is not what the teacher teaches, but curriculum is what the student is able to demonstrate. So I repeat, my dear participants, curriculum is what the student is able to demonstrate and not what the teacher should just teach. So that is exactly you see here, ensure both teacher and learners are at the right track. So if at all you are teaching a course, it is important for both the teachers and the student to know where exactly they stand and how they are journeying through the course. That's very, very important during the course of the entire journey. So that's what this curriculum is all about. By following this curriculum path, you are preparing them to continue on the journey to next level by sailing through each topic by topic in a more logical and organized fashion. Yes, that's right. So if at all, if you are into the curriculum, you have to know very clearly as to what exactly is your path and where exactly you stand during the journey. This is both important for the students and as well as for the teachers so that they don't lose the track and go elsewhere. That's the reason why curriculum designing is so important. And moving on further, what exactly is curriculum mapping is what I'm showing you here with a simple framework given by Webster and Scotts in the year 2012. If you see here, before going and converging to learning outcomes, what is important is the subject content, the assessment task, the teaching events, the learning activities. So everything is interrelated and interconnected. How are these interconnected and how are these interrelated? I'll be describing it in a very, very important part of my presentation at a later stage using a live example. So don't miss it. You will really learn a lot today because curriculum mapping is very, very important for a faculty if at all he wants to be a good pedagogical expert. So if you see here, my dear friends, functions of curriculum mapping, we have these three things to be kept in mind. But the third one is mine. So the most two important factor what you're supposed to have is as a program administrator, the faculty should know if the outcomes were covered or not covered in the curriculum. That's one important. That's what exactly what I was telling you earlier also, that not only for faculty members, it is also important for them to assess and also to know where exactly they stand while delivering their teaching. So that's very, very important as far as this curriculum mapping is concerned. The second one is it helps define the appropriate assessment point in the assessment plan. Whether you need to have a quiz, whether you need to have a, assignment, for example, a reflection type of essay writing as an assessment, what exactly you require, and all these things, if you want to decide, you need to have a proper curriculum mapping. That's where this curriculum mapping all takes you when you design it in a proper way. Although it seems to be a tedious task, the research findings and the researchers say that there is a lot of collaboration and unity made while designing such curriculum process, which means collaboration among the teachers and the students while designing this curriculum before trying to adopt it in their course. So if you see the stages of curriculum mapping, the most important thing is you start gathering all the courses pertaining to that particular program. Say, for example, if you are trying to design a Master of Instructional Design program or Master of Instructional Technology course, what is important is to gather from different faculty members as to what are the different courses you would adopt for that particular program. So that's how you try to gather before trying to devise a curriculum. So you try to get all these details based on the current requirement and the contemporary needs of the society. You try to devise courses that are required for that particular program. And these things are gathered from the respective faculty members. And once you start gathering all these courses and the details, what is important now is the curriculum mapping. So how do you go about doing this curriculum mapping is what I'm sharing it here today. And if you see here, you try to go with the course against the program learning outcome. This program learning outcome is a term which is defined by different countries in different contexts, but mostly it is referred as PLOs. PLO stands for Program Learning Outcome. And what you see on the column, that is course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, or the course learning outcome for the respective courses. So this has to be aligned to the program learning outcome with such mapping. And this is only possible with a proper discussion among the faculty members, because each one will have an expertise in a respective domain and the area of interest. Say, for example, if you are trying to devise a doctorate program, you might have one course in dissertation, one course in research methodology, next course might be in qualitative analysis, the next course might be in quantitative analysis. So each course by itself has learning objectives and learning outcomes. So these learning outcomes has to be aligned with the program learning outcomes, because that is very, very important, where the curriculum mapping plays an important role. Because if you don't map the curriculum properly with the program learning outcome against the course learning outcome, your objective will deviate and the learning outcomes would not be met, and the assignment would be completely out of the requirements set by the course, and it is impossible to measure the learning outcomes, and what is the learning outcomes achieved by the students will definitely deviate, because we don't have a proper plan. So therefore, what is important is a proper curriculum planning, and that is only possible with an alignment of the program learning outcome against the course learning outcome. So you can see here, this is possible with the involvement of respective faculty members going and trying to figure out which course learning outcome is aligned to which program learning outcome, and trying to align it with respective mapping. Okay, so you can see here the respective course has been mapped to the respective program learning outcome. So this is the first stage of the program, curriculum mapping. So now, having a brief understanding of what is curriculum mapping, I just wanted to share with you a simple video to understand what is outcome-based education. I know you have been watching a plenty of sessions, FDPs in the past week or so, and every resource person or the keynote speaker has given a different view about OBE. For example, Professor Singha, he was giving OBE in the mind-based context. Similarly, you have Professor Selva giving a different perception, his own perception on outcome-based education in the context of his different experience from different countries. So all these things you had gained knowledge in the past 1 week or so. But now this particular simple video will enable you to understand what outcome-based education is all about in the general context. So let me share this video. It is just a simple video for 1 or 2 minutes. Please watch carefully. Okay, guys, what I am trying to show in this particular video is only one thing, that outcome-based education is not teacher-centered, but it is a student-centered aspect. So if you wanted to adopt this outcome-based education, you have to come out from your comfort zone to the another zone where you have to think about the student-centric teaching and learning. So this is where the OBU takes you in the journey. So make sure that if you are going to adopt this outcome-based education, you cannot think about the traditional teaching, but you will have to go for the student-centric teaching. So by building the learning outcomes, what is important is what I'm going to share it with you now, because now you have had a clear understanding of what is curriculum mapping, number one. Next is what is your understanding of outcome-based education. Now we are moving to the next stage at the micro level, because we need to understand what is learning outcomes are. Because when I ask many of my teachers, they have their own perception and they don't try to converge at the real requirements set by the learning outcomes. What exactly is learning outcome? What is the purpose of learning outcome? How it has to be defined? All these things are deviating from the actual requirement of what learning outcome is supposed to have. So that's the reason why I've given importance today to make you understand clearly as to what exactly is the requirement for defining or designing or declaring your learning outcomes within a course. So if you want to identify learning outcome, that is the starting point where you have to develop a course, a module or a class session, learning activity, or the Blackboard site. Whatever assignment you decide, whatever modules you decide, everything starts with the learning outcome. That's the key point when you start off designing a curriculum for that particular course. Second thing is the learning outcome or an explicit description of what learners should know, understand, and be able to do as a result of learning. This is exactly what I said initially when I started my presentation. Curriculum is not what the teacher teaches. Curriculum is what the student is able to demonstrate. So all the activities pertaining to each of the learning outcome should be clearly mapped and aligned in such a way that it is achievable for every single student. You cannot say that, uh, say for example, if you are having a learning outcome like um, able to demonstrate. Okay, so if you say able to demonstrate, and if you are trying to uh, um, ask them quiz, that wouldn't be a rather appropriate assignment, and it would be an appropriate assignment for you to ask them to create a PowerPoint presentation or to demonstrate a particular activity. That way, what happens, you can try to assess them appropriately with the learning objective. So if you don't align your assignment with the proper learning outcomes, what happens eventually, you cannot measure the students' ability to achieve that particular learning outcomes appropriately. So what is important is learning outcome aligned to proper assessment. So what is all about learning outcome and how it helps in planning? This is what I have shared you today here. It enables tutor to be more precise in planning, enables effective linkage between learning and teaching. So this is where I said just now how the assessment need to be aligned to the learning outcomes. I was asking one of the teachers in my FDP, and she was asking me what is the rubrics all about. So that clearly shows that how poorly that particular teacher has an understanding of designing an assessment for achieving the desired learning outcome. So you should understand what is the rubrics, what is the purpose of rubrics, how it has to be designed, all these things before trying to devise an assessment, at the same time before designing a learning outcome. And the next thing, the third point is it indicates the level of learning expected and are the basis for writing assessment criteria. That's exactly what I already explained to you in my second point. Helps make explicit any underpinning values, attitude, and skills that may not be reflected in the description of context. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so if you see here, learning outcomes are very, very essential in planning a course and achieving learning objectives of a course, and at the same time aligning them with appropriate assessment criteria. So now, in order to design these learning outcomes, what do you need to have? So you should have a proper verb aligned to your learning outcomes always. And these learning outcome verbs are also aligned to different levels as per some of the theories adopted in the outcome-based education, such as Bloom's taxonomy. So you have to be very, very clear as to how these levels are aligned to the learning outcomes. How are these verbs aligned to the learning outcomes in order to frame your learning outcomes for the respective course. So now if you see here, verbs indicate the level of learning required as opposed to explain. So what is this verbs? I'll show you in a minute. So if you see here, these are different levels and different verbs based on the different levels. So if you see here, remember is one criteria, understanding is another criteria, apply is another criteria, analyze is another criteria. So you cannot say, for example, I'm just telling you an example how a poly learning outcome could be. So if your learning outcome says create, students are able to create uh, um, a, a presentation, say able to create a presentation by capturing the importance of instructional design. Okay, so what happens, this is asking them to create a presentation demonstrating what they have understood from the instructional design. So when you have such learning outcomes, you cannot ask a quiz. It is expecting clearly to demonstrate their ability to design a PowerPoint slides and to capture their understanding of instructional design. So this is where you have to be very, very careful in mapping your learning outcomes to the respective assessment criteria and assessments. Okay, so now looking at these verbs, I have got a lot of things to be shared in my coming slides. But remember that every learning outcome starts with a proper verb, like define, classify, calculate, combine, appropriate, arrange. And remember, this is also aligned to the respective levels. You can't say calculate and expect them to be in the level 8. When I say level 6, or sorry, level 3, level 4, all this is level 8, it all depends upon the level of the students. For example, L6 might be an undergraduate student, L7 might be a postgraduate level student, and L8 might be a doctorate level student. I'm not trying to be more focused about these levels because different countries have different styles to use these levels. And I'm talking in terms of Malaysian context, where L6 they use it for undergraduate, and L7 is for postgraduate level, and L8 is for doctorate level. So when you are trying to use the learning outcomes, you should be very, very precise in choosing your verbs. If you don't choose the words appropriately, then eventually you may end up doing a wrong learning outcome for that particular course, which your NAC in Indian context or MQA in Malaysian context would not be happy to adopt. So you have to be very, very clear while writing your learning outcomes for the respective course with the proper selection of verbs. So now going further, how you word the learning outcomes has implications. As I said earlier, it's very, very important. Make policy recommendation to manager on staff development, for example. We'll have an oral presentation. This is what exactly I explained with the earlier example. So if you have certain things, a recommendation to be submitted to a manager, definitely the assessment methodology would be to capture a student's presentation skills combined with what they wanted to convey in the presentation to the manager on their policy making. So all these things are aligned. Okay, that's what is important for your designing of learning outcomes. And the second one is work cooperatively as a team member. So when you have a cooperatively as a team member as a learning outcome, definitely it should be a reflective law. So you have a peer collaboration, you have group assignment, wherein there is a peer collaboration and they jointly collaborate and do the reflection to meet the requirements set by the learning outcomes. So that's where the assessment methods should be properly aligned to the learning outcomes. So now I'll move on to a live example of curriculum development plan. This is where I'm going to capture beautiful examples. Through these 15 minutes, you will learn a lot. I will show you how this is mapped, how it is converging to the curriculum course performer at the end, wherein it is circulated to the teachers as well as for the students. Okay, so how it is measured, how the students' learning time is measured, everything I'll explain you in next 10 to 15 minutes. Kindly be patient, and you can ask me all the questions at the end of the day. There'll be a separate slot for it. Keep in mind those questions to be asked, and I'll get back to you on that. But before that, I'll just close this PowerPoint presentation and go to my Excel sheet, wherein I'll demonstrate how this curriculum is devised and how the curriculum plan is devised with a generic model. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and can you see the Excel sheet opening?
No, sir.
1 second, hold on. Can you see the Excel sheet now?
No, sir. It's still showing just your video feed.
Now?
Not yet.
You're not able to see my screen?
No, sir. Can anybody else see the screen?
No,
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 sir.
sir.
No.
Okay. Now?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. My screen, is it visible clearly, or is the content small? You want me to increase the size? Okay, is it okay? Hello.
Yeah.
Hopefully it should be fine, sir.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Okay, good. So now if you see here, this is a this is what exactly is the curriculum development plan. And this is where I wanted to pitch today as an important item for today's presentation. And you can see here, I have devised, this is my curriculum plan, wherein I can, I can show you as to how I go about recording all the information pertaining to a course. So if you see here, the name of the course is Educational Technologies, the course code, the synopsis, the name, who is going to teach the course, and if you see here the semester, and here comes your course learning outcome. You see here, you have the course learning outcome. You can see here, it clearly says course learning outcome number 1, identify the function, list key, compare, demonstrate. So these are the learning outcome verbs, and these learning outcome verbs need to be aligned to the respective levels. You can't go and give a level 3 into a doctorate level study. This is a PhD program, and if you see here, I'm asking them to demonstrate. I'm asking them to compare and contrast. I'm asking them to go for list key components. I'm asking them to identify the functions. So these are different levels at the postgraduate level keywords to be adopted in the learning outcomes. And you can see the codes here, C1, C4, A1, A4, P1, PL07. So you see here at the end, PL07 says that it is aligned to the program learning outcome number 7. So there are, say for example, there are 9 program learning outcomes for this entire program. And this is Education Technologies 1 course. And this course has 4 learning outcomes. And these 4 learning outcomes, the first course learning outcome is aligned to PL07. So now, if you see here, CLO1 is aligned to PL07. Okay. And if you see here, I'm using identify the functions. So if you see here, what is the assessment type? It is an essay type. So what happens? You can see how the assignment is mapped to the course learning outcome, and the course learning outcome in turn is mapped to program learning outcome. So there is a clear mapping. Excuse me. So there is a clear mapping here. So I am not deviating, and I am able to measure because I have given them an assessment here. So likewise, if you see here, list key components of various phases in ISD. And if you see it here, it is aligned to PL03, and you have the respective codes here. What is this code? I'll explain you, because those are the codes aligned to the Bloom's taxonomy to identify the level of skills the students will be achieving in the respective activities. So here you can see here, the assessment is online quiz. This is essay. This is again online discussion. You know why this is online discussion? Tell me. Because if you see here, this demonstrate the application of instructional design for creating e-learning content. This is a group activity, and this is PL07, PL04, PL09. So you can also see here that one single course learning outcome is mapped to multiple program learning outcome. So you can see here, one CLO is mapped to 1, 2, 3 program learning outcome. That is what is mentioned here. And this is a sort of curriculum mapping. Moving down, you can see here, these are course modules. If you are doing a course in Bangalore, we have North University, we have South University, East and West. And if you see here, they go about having different modules. So every course has different modules. Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. Imagine that this particular course has got similar to that as Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. And here, if you see here, each module is again mapped to the respective course learning outcome. So I'm mentioning here, what are the course learning outcomes I'll be able to achieve by the completion of the module 1? What are the learning outcomes, course learning outcomes I'll be able to achieve by the end of completing my second module? And what is the student learning time? 40 hours, 39 hours, and whether it is independent, whether it is grouped, on whether it's graded, whether it is guided learning, whether it's face-to-face learning, or whether it is online teaching. All these informations are recorded here in the curriculum mapping. And if you see here, there is something called continuous assessment, because assessment has got two things. One is formative assessment, another one is summative assessment. What is formative assessment? Formative assessment goes with the flow. It goes with the journey of your course. When you teach your course module number 1, module number 2, module number 3, at the end of each module, what you try to conduct as a assessment. So that will become your formative assessment. At the end of the entire course, you have an examination. That will be what? That is your summative assessment at the end of the course. So here, what I have done for this course is to have two continuous assessment. One is online discussion forum. Another one is online quiz. Each one carries 10%, 10%. Okay. So now the final assessment is your exam. Okay. So exam module is the final assessment, wherein you have 40% and 40% for theories and different the respective assessment styles are given here, and how do you go about doing this one, whether it is face-to-face involvement is there or online is there, what is the student learning time, everything is more. And you can see here total learning hours, total 200 hours of learning for this course is aligned or mapped with respect to their final exam, continuous assessment, and teaching and learning throughout the entire 8 weeks. So what they are trying to achieve in the 8 weeks for these 4 modules is clearly mapped against the respective teaching time. So you can see here what are the text books they are going to use. Everything is clearly mapped here in this curriculum plan. So if you have such curriculum plan, what is important is will not deviate, will not go out of the focus. They will not move outside the requirements set by their respective course learning outcome. And that's the reason why we have proper alignment of learning outcome with the respective assessment styles, and of course with the program learning outcomes, everything mapped clearly. And this is one single important document, curriculum development plan, which narrates the entire concept and content that is going to be used in the entire journey of the course 8 weeks. That's how the teacher as well as the student will be able to understand and have a clear understanding of the course even before the start of the course by itself. So this is what, my dear friends, I would like to show with this Excel sheet, wherein you would have clearly understood as to how you go about mapping the CLOs with PLOs and the assessment styles and strategies against your teaching time as well as student learning time. Okay, it's very clear. So next thing what I would like to share with you is, what are these numbers here? What is this C1, C4, A1, A4? This is where one of the universities in Malaysia has devised a beautiful Excel sheet, which I love to share to all the participants out here, but I don't know how.
If you have a Google Drive link, sir, you can share with us.
Yeah, but how? I don't have a WhatsApp group.
I mean on the chat
At
box.
least, maybe.
If you can share it on the chat box. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Can you see my second Excel sheet? Yes or no?
No, sir, it's still showing the previous one.
Now?
Yes, sir. Bloom's taxonomy. Yes.
Okay. The verbs will be very small. I cannot expand it. But anyway, I'll share this one so that you can try it, and how to use it, I'll share it with you. Now you see here we have, suppose you want to know the levels of your verbs you're going to use, then what you do is you type it here. Collaborate. Okay. So when you say collaborate, click this button to see the suggested methods, assessments. So you click here. So you can see here what are the suggested methods. It is showing you C6, essay type, all this is because it's a collaboration. So it is trying to show you all these things. And another thing is, okay. Let me type another one. Able to explain. EXPLAIN, explain. Okay, explain. Okay, now you see here, explain Bloom's taxonomy for verb selected is C2 and C5, C6, A3, A4, and P2. What is this C2, C5, C6, A3, P4, P2? I'll show you now. You can see here. Can you see here very clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, you see here. C2 is comprehension. C5 is synthesis. C6 is evaluation. So when you use the verb, these are the verbs you can use in your learning outcome, and these are the things which you can also adopt in the assessment. And what is this A1? A1 is receiving phenomenon, and here we have A3, that means valuing. A4 is organizing values, and P2 is what? P2 is set, and P1 is perception. So what you are trying to capture from the students is what is given here. So these are various levels and various knowledge what they would acquire through Bloom's taxonomy. So here you can see here, forget about all these sub-levels A1 and P3. Focus on the main verbs and main levels, which is C2, C5, and 6. So when you type the word explain, explain is nothing but C6. What is C6? C6 is evaluation. Okay, so that is the main criteria for your learning objective. That's how you'll have to start building your verbs, start building your learning objectives in your course, for your course. So remember, you just can't pick something and place it in your learning outcome when you design your course. You have to have certain mechanism in order to choose your words, coin the terms appropriately with the required assessment based on these levels. Then only you can adopt it in the respective learning outcomes for that particular course. Because every learning outcome is mapped to the respective learning levels. So if you are giving a wrong levels and having a different assessment style, probably you cannot measure appropriately what is required of a student's outcome, and entire curriculum mapping would be a waste of time. So the real important aspect of designing this curriculum mapping plan or curriculum development plan or whatever it is only to make sure that the students' learning time and teachers' learning time is properly utilized to achieve the desired learning outcome. I already said multiple times that curriculum is not something what the teacher teaches. Curriculum is what the student is able to demonstrate. And if you want the student to demonstrate each one of your learning outcomes, then there should be a proper trust between the student and proper trust between every single students who are involved in the course. And that is properly understood only with a proper designing of curriculum development plan. And when you develop a curriculum development plan and adopt it sincerely in the classroom with a proper trust between the students and the teacher, nothing goes wrong. The desired learning outcome will be properly achieved and you can enjoy your classroom intervention with the respective class successfully. This is because you have been a dedicated teacher. The students have been dedicated to you as well because they understand what is required of that particular course and how it has to go and how it has to journey through various assessments set for the respective course learning outcome. So what happens is you have a successful learning environment provided for your students. And when you provide such a learning environment, your management is happy, you are happy, the students are happy, and you go for the success of the entire institution. So, my dear friends, what I have tried to achieve in this particular 1 hour is to show you a clear demonstration of what exactly is your curriculum development plan. When I say curriculum development plan, is curriculum mapping, and how this curriculum mapping is very, very important for designing course learning outcome, how course learning outcome should be mapped to the program learning outcome. And when you do map curriculum mapping with appropriate course learning outcome and program learning outcome, how that has to have alignment with the respective assessment provided to achieve the desired learning outcome. All these things has been clearly mentioned in my session. I also shared with you 2 important Excel sheets, one explaining how course learning time, student learning time, teacher learning time, all connected to the respective course learning outcome and program learning outcome through one of the Excel sheet by showing how they are connected, how they are interconnected. The second one was a Bloom's taxonomy calculator for calculating your course learning outcome, as well as selecting appropriate verbs for your course learning outcome. Because if you select a course wrongly, if you select a wrongly a verb in your course learning outcome, then you will also select wrongly your assessment for that particular course learning outcome, and eventually everything will be misaligned and you will not get the desired learning outcome. Therefore, my dear friends, what I tried to converge at this particular presentation is both the students and the teachers' trust is very, very important when we adopt such tailored and well-designed curriculum development plan. So if the trust is lost, everything is lost. And when you design your curriculum, there should be a trust also incorporated, because the curriculum designer should involve the faculty in every single stages of development until he converge to what is called as a course performer. What is this course performer? I'll show you right now with an example. Can you see a PDF file, madam?
No, sir.
It's still
Okay.
showing Excel sheet.
Okay. I'll have to stop that one and then share. Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the course performer which I would like to share. This is what I have devised for the Faculty of Education when I was in Malaysia. So you can see here how the course see the starting point is the curriculum designing. The ending point is your course performer, which has to be circulated to the faculty members. So as a dean of the university, what I do is my entire work, starting from that particular sheet, what you saw, the first Excel sheet, until this one, which I deliver to the faculty, I'll be involved. And here, whenever I want the faculty members to play an important role, I'll call up for a meeting wherein they give their input. So please be clear that when you are trying to do a curriculum, the starting point is what I show you in the slides and also in the first Excel sheet. The ending point is what is your course performer, which you are going to share with your faculty members as well as for your students to understand what is the course is all about, everything in a simple manner. So now you can see here, this course is a 3-credit course. And what is the synopsis, objectives, and you can see here, you have the course learning outcome here very clearly defined. Remember, I don't put all those codes, everything, because once I give those codes, who will panic? Even before the students panic, the teachers will panic because they don't know the codes, how it generated. So they'll panic. So you should not use all those things here in the course performer. What everybody can understand, you can share it here in a generic way. So all the modules, the learning time, independent learning, you can see here guided learning. This is non-face-to-face. This is face-to-face. Okay, student learning time 10 hours, 10 hours. All these things are planning and assessment. All these things are there in the module. And you can see here micro teaching, exam preparation, all put together 80 hours of teaching. Then the continuous assessment is 20 hours. The final exam is 20 hours from the student's side. So the 3 credits. So 1 credit is how many hours? 40 hours. So 1 credit of a course is 40 hours of teaching. So this course is 3 credits. Therefore, we have 120 hours of teaching. So what are the reference book? How much of teaching time? All these things they will understand. You can see here SLT stands for student learning time. So you are teaching 6 hours, but say 10 hours are allocated for the students' independent learning, because this is a degree course, so it is okay. But in the case of a postgraduate level, what we have is something called self-directed learning. Like there are many PhD scholars in this particular FDP as a participants. I could see there are many scholars, and these scholars are expected to do what? Self-directed learning. There is a lot of difference between self-directed learning and self-regulated learning. Self-regulated learning means there will be a supervisor who will try to guide, supervise, and tune them. Okay. Whereas self-directed learning is they will go and research themselves and get the solution by themselves. So in the PhD level, you are supposed to go for self-directed learning. But most of the scholars think that my supervisor did not help me. My supervisor failed to give me all these things. My my supervisor did not teach me statistics. My supervisor did not teach me how to do qualitative analysis, research methodology. My dear friends, my dear research scholars, supervisor is there to track your progress. If you are in the wrong direction, they will identify and guide you. They are not teachers to teach you quantitative analysis or qualitative analysis. Research, PhD is a long process. This is a longitudinal research. That means you have at least a minimum of 3 years of research. So you have to do and sincerely show evidence of your learning time. Suppose I ask a research scholar out there in this particular FDP, how many learning journals have you gone through before doing your proposal? I'm sure they'll say 10, 15, 20, 30 like that. But is what required for your PhD? Is that is what is expected from your supervisor? No. You have a multiple domains for searching your research articles. It can be from digital library, it can be from journals, it can be from published papers, it can be from Google, it can be from open sources everywhere. All these papers should be dumped, and finally what is required for your research topic has to be converged, and you should have shown evidence of your searching to your supervisor so that your supervisor is convinced. This is where your learning time plays an important role, where the credit hours plays an important role. But what happens? The research scholars wanted to complete the literature review chapter in a week's time. That is not the case. Literature review is by itself a PhD thesis. Literature review is an art by itself. It is a beautiful place where you have to place your arguments from different research you have read, from different journals you have read. So it is not just cut and paste from the literatures what you have downloaded. It is what arguments you have captured by using a literature review matrix and then capturing the research problems in your literature review appropriately, so that the reader of your literature review clearly knows what is the research gap. And all these things, when you show it to your supervisor, they will be happy to know that you are overtaking them. Don't worry. At the end of the day, you'll be happy that you have completed a successful research. I became very popular in Malaysia and also in my place where I work only because I overtook my supervisors in all aspects, because I never expected from them. I conquered my 2 PhDs, 5 years of research in my first PhD and 5 years, and with a Indian wife. How hard it is to achieve, you should know. One PhD itself is gone, your life is gone. And especially in places like Malaysia, it's very tough because passing a viva is so difficult and they put you into a loop. So you should understand the seriousness of your research, number one. Second thing is serious of your student learning time. So this is the end of my presentation. I think I have completed whatever I intended to present to you in this particular FDP. I have started from scratch, from the word curriculum, and I have converged to course pro forma. I have also converged to all the researchers out there who don't know what is the importance of student learning time, to make them understand and change their attitude towards their understanding of literature review and spend more time in that to complete the literature review with perfection. Thank you so much. Thank you, IFERP, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you all the participants for being present here. And I'm sure you would have enjoyed this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request you to unmute yourself to ask your queries or write in the chat box, please. If you have any queries, please do.
Sir, I have a query. Can I ask?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Suchitra. I'm from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam.
Yes, madam.
So, sir, you said it's this is more about what the student is able to learn rather than what is the teacher is able to teach, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, like, do I have to prepare this entire curriculum design every time a new set of students come to the class? I mean, for the same course, do I have to plan everything for every different year?
That is what is expected of NAT if you are in India.
Okay, so so there is nothing like if once all the outcomes are mapped, then they do not have to be like the same all over the years, right? We can change them every year depending on the batch of the students or what is expected of them.
Exactly, ma'am. Yes. See, the curriculum, after completing one semester,
Yes.
you understand that the students have not met the learning outcomes for certain part of the course.
Yes.
You can always change. But I believe that you are the one who asked a similar question in another program,
Yes.
another GPA. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, I understand. I still remember that question.
Okay.
See, when you are trying to adopt, changes.
Yes.
When you are trying to adopt the changes, whether you can do it in the same semester or in the subsequent semester was your question, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I mean, for this batch of students, there are one outcome. So for the next batch of the students, depending on this one, can I change the outcomes?
Correct. So now you see where the university don't understand the concept of the entire curriculum mapping, all these things.
Okay.
Where the college doesn't understand what is the curriculum development plan is all about. They try to adopt the changes immediately in the current semester.
Is that possible?
No, that is not the way.
Okay.
But you see, NAC or UGC doesn't insist you whether to change it on the current semester or in the subsequent semester. But we as a pedagogical expert, we should understand that it is not possible when you have started the journey.
Yes, yes.
You have already started the journey. So whatever changes should come, we should gather from the respective faculty members by the 5th week or 6th week of the course for the changes to be adopted in the subsequent semester.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that is the very clear, positive mindset for a institution to go successful in designing their curriculum. So if you are trying to adopt it on in the current semester, it is not having any meaning for the changes.
So it will be more like a feedback from the current students and then employing it for the next ones.
Yes, it should be a feedback from the students. It should be a feedback from the faculty. Everything going to the dean. The dean decides whether the changes should be adopted or not. Then the dean goes for changes, informing the faculty members that for these courses, the learning outcome will be changed from the next semester, and following are the changes. This one should go to the faculty members. That's how you have a positive learning environment.
Yes, sir. And also, because of the uncertain timings that we are in. It's difficult to determine the number of online classes and the number of offline classes that are needed. For example, suddenly there is a lockdown and we are not able to facilitate any offline classes, that is face-to-face classes. Then can we change that part in the plan?
Of course. See, your teaching hours is now mapped to face-to-face to online teaching. That's right. That's right. So whatever you are able to achieve in the face-to-face, if you can achieve in the online teaching, then it's fair enough. That's all. Of course, you can't map it point by point, but you can still map it properly if you have a proper learning management system.
Maybe we can like increase the number of hours or equate.
You can you see, like, you see 1 credit hours is 40 notion hours, 40 hours of teaching you should require. 1 face-to-face is equal to 40 hours of teaching. So you should say 1 hour of online teaching is equal to how many hours of blah blah blah. All these things you should mention. So that has to be decided by the respective faculty and respective dean of the faculty. And you also asked one question, if I'm not mistaken, why can't the curriculum be uniform across all the?
Yes.
Yes. Sir. So this is where I wanted to deliver this answer in the context of being a dean for several years. Okay. I think this will be a valid answer for you. But for answering this question, I need an answer from you.
Yes.
What is the difference between a college and a university?
A basic difference is a college is like an amalgam of different, let us say, it's like a head of different colleges, and it has the, it has the, what should I say? It has the responsibility of designing the curriculum for different.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. It has the responsibility of designing a curriculum.
Yes.
So the difference between a college and a curriculum is a college is not allowed to design its curriculum.
Oh, okay.
University, when it is a university, it is expected to have all its curriculum designed by in-house.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So that's the reason why there are several colleges under one university.
Okay.
So if you are trying to say that I want one curriculum designed for all my colleges and universities, it is impossible because they are in a different domain. University falls under autonomous.
Yes.
College is not autonomous.
Yes. No. After your presentation, I clearly understood why it is not possible. I mean, I was waiting for this question to be answered, and your presentation answered it perfectly, which is why I did not repeat that question, because I could see that it is not possible for an independent college to, design their own curriculum.
Because I can understand that the question itself is a wrong question if you have understood that concept.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I posted a question to you. What's the difference between a college and you yourself gave the answer that university is deciding on the curriculum.
Yes.
So the autonomous factor plays an important role in deciding whether it's a college or a university.
University. Thank you very much, sir. And we hope that you will be able to share those Excel sheets and PDF.
Madam, I don't know, because I can see there is see, I've shared my email.
Yes.
Okay, and I will share it to the organizers also, and I have also shared my email. Mine is very simple, computerravi@gmail.com. You send me, I'll send you all the attachments. No worries.
Yes, sir. Is it posted in the chat box, sir? Or can you repeat?
Yeah, it is in chat box. Wait 1 minute, 1 second, hold on.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet,
No.
sir. No, no.
Wait 1 minute. Just give me a minute.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can see my email and my WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's load. Yeah, it's yes, sir. It's very visible. Thank you, sir. I'll just take a screenshot. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for being here. Over to IFERP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And I have also posted the email address and contact number in the chat box. And I personally appreciate Suchitra ma'am for raising such questions in all the sections. And I would request,
Yes, sir.
if anyone wants to ask any more queries, please. If not, if you want to have that Excel file or any PDF file, you can directly email computerravi@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And once again, I thank you, sir. It was a really interesting and knowledgeable session on behalf of IFERP and everyone here today. I thank you for taking your time to speak to us on outcome-based education. Thank you once again, sir, and thank you, everyone. We will be back at 5 p.m. today in our next session. Thank you now. We will meet back at 5 p.m.